This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Hannah Belinsky coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Wednesday, May 6th. KMT's arms purchase conditions undermine legislative oversight, says Defense Minister. Lai awards Font for a half-century of advancing Taiwan-U.S. ties. And Foreign Minister eyes Israel visit to boost ties as Knesset delegation visits Taiwan. But first, today's top story. As the special defense budget remains stalled in the legislature, the KMT reportedly insists that each defense procurement item must come with a U.S. letter of offer and acceptance before proceeding. Defense Minister Wellington Koo on Wednesday retorted that their version of the bill was drafted based on formal documents the United States provided expressing willingness to sell. KMT legislators said the LOAs would prevent blank authorization. Koo explained that under the established procurement model, only cases that have completed the U.S. congressional notification process are made public, giving legislators enough time to scrutinize the procurement contents.
Under those circumstances, legislators theoretically wouldn't have reviewed the budget at all before telling the Defense Ministry to sign the letter of offer and acceptance. If anything, seeing an LOA and immediately telling us to sign it is more akin to blank authorization.
Regarding recent foreign media reports about how Taiwan's military should study Ukraine's asymmetric warfare techniques, Koo said that asymmetric warfare and unmanned systems have long been a priority for the ministry, which is why the special defense budget includes drone procurement and establishing a non-red supply chain. Asked whether the ministry could accept a final figure of 800 billion NT dollars if that is where the act lands, Koo stressed that the 1.25 trillion figure was derived from overall operational requirements, covering not just arms purchases, but also commercial sales and contracted production, which are all essential to combined combat power. Koo indicated that the ministry's 2026 priorities center on strengthening joint operations capability. Beyond the annual military exercise, readiness drills, and inter-service exercises, he said new exercises planned for coming months will validate command and control staff operations, combined arms coordination, and inter-service integration based on actual joint operations plans. As for China's information operations and United Front activities, Koo said the ministry will strengthen interagency coordination and work with allies to develop counter-narrative cooperation, reducing Beijing's influence. President Lai Ching-te on Wednesday awarded the Order of Brilliant Star with Special Grand Cordon to former DPP U.S. Office Director Michael J. Font, honoring his decades-long contributions to Taiwan-U.S. relations. Lai said Font first came to Taiwan as a missionary during the martial law era, promoting human rights. He later returned to the United States to lobby Congress through the Formosan Association for Public Affairs. He described Font as a lifelong friend who has worked shoulder to shoulder with the Taiwanese people for half a century, and thanked him for his dedication to Taiwanese democracy. Speaking in Taiwanese, Lai noted that Font, a New York native who often said that Taiwan stole his heart, was sent to rural Taiwan in 1967 after seminary training. He served farmers across Taichung, Changhua, and Miaoli.
In order to gain the unwavering support of the U.S. government and face various challenges when Taiwan's international standing was still precarious, Michael stood shoulder to shoulder with the people of Taiwan, fighting for democracy and the support of the international community. I believe everyone here, especially Vice President Xiao Bi-khim, Chairman Mark Chen, and other senior figures, deeply appreciate the hardships he endured.
Font recalled arriving in a Taiwan that was under martial law, saying that if someone had told him the island would become a thriving democracy within 20 years, he would have been incredulous. He concluded by declaring in Taiwanese, "Long live Taiwan's democracy." Foreign Minister Lin Jialong said he hopes to lead a delegation to Israel when the Middle East situation stabilizes, aiming to deepen bilateral ties through what he calls comprehensive diplomacy. Lin made the remarks on social media as a cross-party Israeli Knesset delegation led by former Speaker Miki Levy visited Taiwan. The group also includes Israel-Taiwan Parliamentary Friendship Group Chair Boaz Toporowski and lawmaker Ron Katz. Lin accompanied President Lai Ching-te in meeting the delegation at the presidential office on Tuesday. Lin noted that visits by Israeli government and parliamentary officials to Taiwan increased by 50% last year, with growing business and tourism exchanges. He said future cooperation could expand in startups, supply chain resilience, agriculture, healthcare, and academia. Recalling past exchanges, Lin said he and the president had attended the International Mayors Conference in Israel when they served as mayors. He additionally referenced a 2018 visit when he signed a sister city agreement with Petah Tikva, where Katz was then deputy mayor. Lin also noted that Toporowski launched a cross-party petition in the Knesset last July backing Taiwan's international participation, with Levy the first to support it. Taiwan plans to expand cooperation with Israel through platforms such as the Global Cooperation and Training Framework. Taiwan's Economic and Trade Office in Surabaya hosted an international medical symposium on Tuesday, drawing more than 300 healthcare executives and uniting medical institutions from the United States, Japan, and Australia to share expertise in cancer care and smart medicine. The one-day forum was co-organized with multiple foreign missions and executed jointly by National Taiwan University Hospital's Yunlin branch and Airlangga University Hospital in Surabaya. The agenda received certification from Indonesia's Ministry of Health. Speakers included experts from MD Anderson Cancer Care and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, alongside representatives from Japan's JICA, the Sapporo Cardiovascular Center, Australia's Icon Cancer Center, and Indonesia's Darmais Cancer Hospital. Taiwan's delegation, led by NTUH Yunlin Deputy Superintendent Chen Xingshui, presented the island's universal health coverage screening programs and telemedicine capabilities. Technology firm Quanta Computer also sent a senior delegate. TECO Director Isaac Cho emphasized that Taiwan, ranked number 1 globally in healthcare by Numbeo and a leading producer of advanced semiconductors and AI servers, is uniquely positioned to help Indonesia elevate its domestic medical standards and reduce medical tourism abroad. Foxconn has successfully launched its second-generation low-Earth orbit satellites, Pearl 1A and Pearl 1B. The company is now beginning inter-satellite communication experiments.
Foxconn's second-generation low-Earth orbit satellites lifted off aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket on Sunday in California, lighting up the sky with a long trail of flame before successfully entering low-Earth orbit. The satellites Pearl 1A and Pearl 1B's primary missions include communications verification and space science payload testing. 2 satellites will fly in tandem formation to conduct inter-satellite communication experiments over a planned 5-year mission, marking a new phase for Foxconn in the low-Earth orbit satellite communications sector. The company said it will use experience from this mission to accelerate its push into the low-Earth orbit market. Also aboard the same Falcon 9 launch was Gemini Pollux, a CubeSat independently developed by the Space Technology Center at National Cheng Kung University. Built entirely by the university's faculty and students, the satellite will conduct ionospheric monitoring, upper atmosphere research, and Earth imaging, communicating with ground stations via amateur radio. Chen Jiarui, a CubeSat program director at Taiwan's National Space Organization, noted that IoT communications via CubeSat are increasingly common, particularly for connecting remote areas and ocean zones lacking ground-based signals. Filaskowski for RTI News.
This Wednesday, National Palace Museum Director Xiaozong Huang delivered a budget briefing to the legislature, during which DPP legislator Chen Peiyu pressed the museum on the origin and quality of its cultural and creative merchandise, calling for a higher share of domestically made products. Xiao reported that Taiwan-made merchandise accounted for 83% of the museum's cultural products in 2025, up from 76.74% in 2024 and 69% in 2023. The director attributed the rising share of made-in-Taiwan goods in part to collaborations with central government agencies, local governments, and the Economic Ministry's Industrial Development Administration, including a co-branded series pairing NPM artifacts with MIT craftsmanship. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Hannah Belinsky. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.